Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little bit of a gamble. You see, we already know the contents of the Death Guard Combat Patrol box. We know what's in it, and in fact, I will show you what's in it in case you are currently unaware. We have, right here, in front of us, Plague Marines, a Biologist Purifier. Putrifier? Sure. Typhus, Herald of the Plague God, and 30 Poxwalkers. Now, to be fair, that's quite a cool box. I do like that box, and we already know how much combat patrols cost. They are £85. Now, just in case you would like some verification of that, I don't know how much that is in other currencies, because I live here in the UK, but Combat Patrol Space Wolves, 85, Death Watch, Blood Angels, all £85. Now, the question is, how much is the Death Guard one going to have in the box? How much is it going to be worth? Not how much are they going to charge. If you were to buy it all separately, what are we looking at? Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, if I'm honest, because there is a slight issue with this question. Poxwalkers. The easy-to-build Poxwalkers are gone. Can't get them no more, and that is because there is a new box of 10 Poxwalkers on the way to coincide with the various stuff that the Death Guard is getting with the Codex. You've got the Laden Terminator armour, whose name I've immediately forgotten, and you've got the Malignant not Plague Furnace. We decided that was a Skaven thing. God, I'm on a roll today for naming stuff correctly, aren't I? Christ. Anyway, you've got the scenery, you've got the Terminator guy, and you've got the boxes of Plague Walkers. 30 of them. Now, this has the potential to be a very, very good box, discount-wise. It has the potential to be that. But it all hinges on one thing. How much are those Poxwalkers actually gonna be? That is the question. That is the $1 million, well, the 85 quid question, I guess. Because, if we take a look, then we can see that Typhus, the man himself, Herald of the Plague God, is £25. Okay, not terrible for an HQ these days. There are a couple that are more expensive. There is also the Biologist Putrifier. See, I know the name of him. I can get it right. Only once, mind. So we've got the Biologist Putrifier there as well. And we have the Plague Marines temporarily out of stock online. That bodes well, doesn't it? So, if you add all of that lot up, you get £72.50. So, for your power armoured lads in this box, well, power armour and one set of Terminator armour, let's be clear about it, you're looking at £72.50, which, okay, we're not up to the value of the box yet, but we have 30 Poxwalkers. The Poxwalkers will be available in boxes of 10. Now, the thing is, these Poxwalkers kind of... how do I put this? They're exactly the same ones that you got out of Dark Imperium. That's how we put it. So, if we take a look at them once again, we can see they are just exactly the same as the ones that you got out of Dark Imperium. There's nothing different. There's nothing new or fancy about these. They are as they have been since they were released. I mean, I have these exact models sat behind me on a shelf, languishing in half-painted shame. What can they get away with charging for these? That, I think, is genuinely a question that we need to ask ourselves here, because these are not complicated models. They're not full models. They are, I mean, they're all easy build. All of them are. They're just like 2 components, I think, most of them. It's been a while since I put them together, but they're not complicated. And for a box of 10, given that the easy build ones were like £6 or something. In fact, let's check that. We'll do a quick check of price there. Actually, £10. So it was a tenner for what? 3 or 6? I can't remember how many there were in the box, and if we try and click it, unfortunately, oh dear me, it's a shame, isn't it? It would have been real helpful to still have that available. But we can do some guesswork here, okay? So the Poxwalkers are kind of, I mean, these are all general, I'm being very general here, generalised. You could argue that the Poxwalkers are kind of like the Zangor equivalents that Thousand Suns have. Obviously, they're not anywhere near the same, but you could argue that they fulfill. Like you've got your weird side of things basically, and that's where the Poxwalkers come in. Yes, there are demons of Nurgle, but these are not that. These are slightly different, much like the Zangors are slightly different to, say, horrors. So you've got the Zangors there, and you've got the horrors there. You know, they both have a Thousand Suns thing going on, but they're not the same thing. Same thing with Poxwalkers and your general demons of Nurgle. Now the thing is, 10 Zangors is 2750. Now, if somehow the Poxwalkers ended up being 2750 a box, which I highly doubt, that would mean that this box would be pretty up there in terms of your savings. 25 quid would be the same as horrors. Now, I don't think they're going to be 25 quid. If they were, the box total would be 147.50. That's pretty decent. But again, I don't think 25 quid is the answer to the question of how much of the Poxwalker is going to be. That seems like it would be a bit of a rip. Admittedly, it would make the box very good value because you'd be looking at 147 quid. If the Poxwalkers turned out to be 20 quid a box, it would still be pretty decent because at that point you'd be looking at 132.50. If, though, the Poxwalkers actually was 1750, which that's a number I've somewhat pulled out of my arse, frankly. I'm kind of just going off the Biologist Putrefier as a single model for the Death Guard being 1750. Use that as kind of a yardstick for them. That would put the box at 125 quid. To be honest, that's not too bad either. It's not amazing, but it's okay. I would be surprised if the Poxwalkers are less than that. If they were the same as these, that would be outrageous. That would be genuinely outrageous. Like, the Zangors is such... It's a much more complex kit, frankly. I mean, if you look at the sprues for them, that one sprue would probably do the entirety of the Poxwalkers. Because they're like one or two pieces or whatever. It would be outrageous if they were 2750. 25 I could kind of see, but I think there would be a little bit of displeasure about that. For me, it's got to be somewhere close to the 20 quid mark. But it is an interesting one because, to be honest, I'm already of the opinion that the Combat Patrol boxes, whilst they are more expensive than the Start Collecting ones, are a bit more reliable. They're a bit more reliable. They should, on paper, give you a Combat Patrol. Admittedly, I think it's the Deathwatch one actually gives you the 25 power, but then the other two are closer to 28, if I remember correctly, with current points values, because obviously everything's shifted around. Since those boxes were dropped, points values have changed, power levels have changed. But it is a more stable baseline to go off. The Start Collecting ones were all over the shop. They were just... Some of them were worth a good amount of points, and some of them were absolutely not worth a good amount of points. In terms of the amount saved per box as well, that varied massively. I expect that to still happen, but at the very least, if the point/power level are at least vaguely in line with each other, that's an improvement. So this box, this Death Guard one, you're basically looking at three different rough possibilities. The high end of the scale would mean that the Poxwalkers are shockingly expensive at like £25 a box. That would be outrageous. That would be too much. But that would mean that the box for the Combat Patrol would be 147.50. If they were 20 quid per box, again, I'd still argue that's a little bit too much. You'd be looking at 132.50. And if they were around the 17.50 mark, maybe 18 quid, you'd be looking about 125 quid for the box, which is £40 worth of savings, which, to be fair, when we look at the other Combat Patrol boxes, not that far off. Now, they could end up being even cheaper. I would like it if they were, but I'm very cautious to say that they will be, because prices are going up. We know this. They're slowly raising across the board. New stuff that comes out is just a little bit more expensive than old stuff, and this to me feels like it's not going to be an exception to that. But it's going to be worth keeping an eye on to see how much those are, because ultimately that will affect the kind of cost effectiveness of the Combat Patrol box for the Death Guard. I'm kind of hoping that it turns out to be alright. But what we need to do is place your bets. Place your bets down below. How much do you think they're going to be? How much do you think the Combat Patrol box is going to be? Let me know in the description. Don't let me know in the description. You don't have access to that, or at least you shouldn't have. You better not have. Let me know in the comments, and we'll see what happens when we see what the price is for those individually boxed Poxwalkers. Should be interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.